Ladies and gentlemen, friends, brothers and sisters, today I want to speak with you about a subject that has shaped the very fabric of our existence. A subject that has been present before history was written, before cities rose, before nations were named, and that subject is woman. For without her, there is no life, there is no story, there is no story, there is no tomorrow. And when I think of the word woman, I do not think only of a single person, but of a force that carries generations, that carries memory, that carries both the burden and the beauty of humanity. From the very beginning, woman has stood at the heart of our lives, nurturing not only our bodies but our spirits, shaping the values of every child who will one day grow to lead, to teach, to love, or to struggle. And yet, too often the world has overlooked her, too often she has been asked to remain silent while others spoke to her. Often she has been told her worth lies not in her mind or her soul, but in how she can serve. And yet she endured, and in that endurance, she showed a strength that no empire, no crown, no throne could ever match. For the power of woman is not only in creation, though it is the miracle of life itself, but in her vision, her compassion, her ability to see the cracks in this world and still choose to mend them, still choose to love, still choose to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. Think of history, and you will see her shadow in every great achievement. Even if the books failed to record her name, she was there when revolutions were born, whispering courage into the ears of men and women alike. She was there in the fields, in the factories, in the quiet rooms where decisions were shaped. She was there when science advanced, when art blossomed, when faith was questioned and renewed, and when nations struggled to find their way. When we speak of greatness, let us not speak of man alone, for greatness is incomplete without woman. And to every man who has risen to speak, to lead, to fight, there has always been a woman whose strength made his strength possible, whose love gave him reason to stand, whose wisdom guided him when he was blind, and whose resilience reminded him of the cost of giving up. And I tell you, when I look into the world today, I see the same truth alive as it has always been. Women are still fighting, still carrying, still breaking down walls that should have never been built. Women are still asking not for favors, but for recognition, not for privilege, but for justice, not to be placed above, but to be seen as equal. And when we finally understand that equality does not mean less for men, but more for humanity, then we will have taken a step forward, a step worthy of the generations that have sacrificed to bring us here. We cannot speak of love without speaking of mothers. We cannot speak of courage without speaking of daughters. We cannot speak of endurance without speaking of sisters. We cannot speak of wisdom without speaking of grandmothers. And in every culture, every nation, every time in history, woman has been the thread that keeps the tapestry from unraveling. She is the poet and the poem, the question and the answer, the hand that holds and the spirit that refuses to let go. So let us not only celebrate her on one day in a year, but let us honor her every day in how we live, in how we treat one another, in how we teach our sons to respect our daughters, to dream, and ourselves to never forget the source of our strength. I believe the world becomes brighter every time we raise the voices of women. Every time we give them the seat they have already earned. Every time we acknowledge that progress without women is no progress at all. So let us carry this truth with us, that woman is not a chapter in the book of life. She is the author, she is not the supporting role, she is the story itself. And when we honor her, we honor ourselves. And when we silence her, we silence our own future. And so, I leave you with this thought. To love woman is not simply to admire her beauty, but to respect her mind, to protect her rights, to share with her the responsibility of shaping this world. And when we truly do, we will finally live in a world that is worthy of her.